Welcome to the BorneoTalk show. I'm Ashley Pan, your host for this show. Today we have a very special guest, and she has a very inspirational story. So let's welcome Lum Kah Yee. Hi Kah Yee.
Hi Ash, thanks for having me here.
And it's an honor to have you. So maybe tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, as you all know, my name is Kah Yee. So I'm born in Kuching, and at the age of 3, something really huge happened to me that actually shaped who I am today. So at the age of 3, I was paralyzed from waist down. My parents was very worried, and then they brought me to a lot of different medical practitioners to traditional medication
check and everything.
Yeah, okay. So they couldn't find out what is really wrong with me as well. So I guess the diagnosis was transverse myelitis. So in a simple term, it's basically inflammation of the spinal cord. It's something like an infection. So, but even said so, my parents did not give up on me. So right now I'm working as a pharmacist in a hospital.
Incredible.
And I'm traveling around the world, hopefully, but I've been traveling with Ashley as well.
Yes. I think I'm excited to see and listen to more stories on how you really go about your everyday lives, because you said 3, so now it's been what, 29 years that you've experiencing this? Okay, that's a long journey.
So. It doesn't felt long though. When I reminisce back, it felt like it was short.
But you must be really proud of what you've come.
Yeah, I guess there is the ups and downs. It's interesting to live with a physical condition like a medical condition.
So how do you get around? Like going to the shopping malls, work and things like that?
Usually I will go out with my family and friends, but I do enjoy the sense of independence when I go out on my own. I drive a modified car to work and to places like malls or cafes, and I can bring out in and out the wheelchair on my own as well, because my wheelchair can be dismantled. Basically just one incident that kind of made me feel that there is very kind people on earth. You know, you keep on hearing so much negative news. So that incident actually brought me to know that there's good in everyone. So what happened is that because I'm sitting in the wheelchair, so it's actually quite low, and the springs, the paying machine is actually very high up. So when I traveled to Spring alone, I couldn't pay on my own.
Because of the auto pay.
Correct. Okay. It's actually very high up, so I can't put in the money, and as well as the ticket. So what happened that day was that there was an uncle, he passed by, and he saw I was struggling. So he actually helped me pay with his money, his own money, and I wanted to pay him back. He said, no, it's okay, you know. So this is something like what you experience when I'm alone outside.
I think that's good. It's important for all of us to really be aware of our surrounding.
It's like a small act of kindness actually helps a lot. That small act of kindness from the uncle actually makes me feel like very warm at heart.
That's really good. And not only are you my very good friend, you're also a frontliner. You know, throughout this whole COVID-19 season, how was that for you? You know, in terms of you yourself at work, you know, going through the whole thing.
I think for all the frontliners working in a hospital, they are fearful of the viruses as well. I mean, even for me, because what I heard initially, the early reports that those who had COVID-19 are the ones that have illnesses as well.
That's true.
Because of my physical conditions, I was very worried that I might get the infection. But then again, because I work in a hospital, and I was thinking like duties is more important than my fear, and because there are a lot of people that need medications as well. So I kind of like take out that courage within me.
Amazing.
And just face it. But of course, because they were saying that you can get COVID, you know, the viruses might stick to like your clothes or any else thing that you touch. So I was very particular about my wheelchair. Because I was thinking that, you know, my wheelchair travels with me everywhere. You know?
It's true.
How do I clean it? Because normal people, they just go home, they shed off their clothes and just wash all over. But I cannot bring my wheelchair
to wash all the time as well, right?
I cannot bring my wheelchair into the bathroom to wash it.
It's true.
So I was really worried about it. So I was avidly washing every day, you know. Disinfecting my wheelchair every day, because I was very worried that I bring back the viruses from the hospital to my family members. So that was my personal struggle with COVID as a frontliner. which is on frontliner on the wheelchair. Yeah.
You put your bravery in front, put your armor of that in front. Yeah. So your duty, and you stick to that, and then you didn't let the fear conquer you. We've traveled together previously. You know my habits, my travel habits. I know your travel habits. We all have our own style.
Correct.
So, and you've also traveled solo, right?
Yes.
And so maybe you can share a bit about your experiences. How's that like? Because there was one time when we traveled to Amsterdam and then you fell.
Yep.
I think that's part of a bit my fault. But, we experienced that together. My hat fell, but maybe you can tell us a bit about your whole journey of traveling.
Yeah, so traveling with a physical illness is a bit different because I couldn't do impromptu moments like what normal people can do. They can just jump into the plane and travel.
That's true.
I need to do months, probably weeks of planning from the transportation, from the hotel, from the places like the landmarks, whether it's wheelchair accessible or not.
That's true.
I think the most challenging one would be planning a flight journey.
Yeah.
There's two things that I'm pretty worried about during a long flight is first, of course, getting to the toilet. As we all know, the airplane's toilet are really very
tiniest.
small. Correct. So it's like how do you actually fit a wheelchair into a lavatory as well? So that's why I had to break into shorter flights. And then I also feel whether my wheelchair will make it to the destination.
That's true, because once you have like stops and transits that could get lost as well.
Yeah, especially when the transits are really very short. So they tend to not put the wheelchair into the plane on time, so there's the risk of getting...
That's true. Okay.
There's a risk of getting lost as well. Yeah, and apart from that, when you reach the destination, if you're in a foreign country who doesn't speak English, then you might have trouble communicating whether they can take in wheelchairs into their cars and that.
So you have to keep calling in advance, like to airlines and the customer service. They have to help you with that and getting everything ready for you.
One thing I learned is that just be spontaneous and be prepared to be surprised.
We actually went on another trail together recently, right?
I think it's more like a race, isn't it?
Fine, it is. But we have a clip for that. Shall we check it out?
Sure.
Hi, how are you?
It's such a good day today. So I didn't see
I know, it's been so long.
So good. I heard that you wanted to try how is it like sitting on the wheelchair, right? So I brought my own wheelchair.
Okay, I'm excited. I'm so worried but excited.
Do you want to try sitting on it first?
Let's do this.
So we need to put on the brakes first. Okay. Okay, is it okay? So do you want to try moving along the straight line here?
Let me try.
Go, Ash.
I feel like I'm turning the wrong. Okay.
If you need help, you can help me.
Is this okay?
Yes, that's good. How is it like?
Very different feeling.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think because I've never done this as well. So
So you get to see things differently, right? Like
the view and everything. Yeah.
Do you want to try like do a turn?
Turn, okay.
Oh, that's good. Wow.
So one hand.
Yeah. Wow, you did a U-turn. Good job.
I'm gonna see you. My first lesson. So we're gonna travel a bit around Kuching town. Because I want to experience how is it like to view from the wheels, and that's your Instagram page name, right? That's your blog name. Yes. So where should we go first?
I think maybe. Are you up for an adventure to go that side?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go. Okay, let's go.
Yay.
Let's go, guys.
Yay, there's no car. Slowly, Ash. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Not scary. Yeah, just take your time. It's okay, they will stop. Good job! Yay! Oh gosh. You're doing good, Ash, but sorry, I'm winning now. Almost Wow.
What a journey, right?
Oh, you did a really good job though, turning yourself 360.
Swirling.
Yeah.
Well, I have a good teacher. But it's a really different experience for me. I think
Yeah.
it's my first time,
Okay.
like I told you. But it was a very, I think I was really excited to try this experience with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of the whole experience together?
I think you did a really, really good job for a first time sitting on a wheelchair, You have pretty good control on, how to wheel the wheelchairs.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank
and I
you.
think it's a really good effort because you're trying to bring more awareness to people with disabilities in Kuching, right?
I think and seeing how because we're friends, I get to
Yes.
see the journey with you.
Correct.
And being able to be part of it and
Yeah.
going through it. As you mentioned
Yeah.
that being in a wheelchair, it's a different view,
Yeah,
right?
correct,
Like
correct.
it's a much lower view, so you also worry about whether people
Yep.
see you,
Yeah.
things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So it's a very interesting.
Yeah, it's like how we rely on people's kindness, to go through sometimes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's really true.
Yeah.
So always show kindness all the time.
Be kind.
Be kind. With more talks on accessible tourism and making travel a more inclusive experience for all walks of life these days. I'm sure our viewers would love to know. I'm very curious to understand how do you feel, and how is your experience?
Oh, with accessible
Tourism, yes.
Okay. Well, I first dabbled with accessible tourism when I was in UK for a year. So they actually provided a lot of facilities like, ramps, disabled car parks. They even provided free tickets to carers.
Yeah. Oh, yes, it's amazing.
Yeah.
That's true,
Yeah,
yes.
to museums as well as to like theaters,
Yeah.
musical as well. So when I came back here and as you know, I like to travel. So
Yes, you love it.
even though I'm back in Sarawak, I still want to go to new places.
It's good.
Yeah.
Domestic tourism,
Yeah,
going
correct.
round Sarawak everywhere.
Correct.
That's good. Yeah.
So I remember I traveled to Telaga with my mom, and it was quite an okay experience actually.
Yeah.
I was quite surprised. The pavement was very smooth.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and then I went to this coconut shake place, and then even though there was like a few steps, but it's still doable.
So it's still doable.
Yes.
You can manage,
Yes,
especially
correct.
because you have your mom with
Yes,
you.
correct,
Yeah.
correct.
So you can actually travel and go around places as
Yeah.
well.
Yes.
Okay. Did you have? Because Telaga's Eye is famous for their seafood.
Yes.
Did you have seafood
Yes,
there?
definitely.
Yeah.
It was really very nice.
That's good. That's good.
They have very good scenery as well there.
Could you see Sarawak spearheading in accessible tourism?
Yeah, definitely. I feel that we can be like the pioneer in accessible tourism.
In Malaysia,
Yeah,
right?
correct. Especially for Kuching itself, because when I came back, I heard about this hydrogen bus.
Yes.
Yeah, then I saw there was this sticker in front of hydrogen bus. There's a wheelchair
With the-
sign. Yeah, so I guess we are heading
Towards
in
that direction.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And
yeah.
more people can actually travel around.
Yeah. I'm very passionate about it right now because I hope that we can see this in Sarawak. I have this vision. I hope that it can come true maybe in the future time that, probably Sarawak can be the first wheelchair accessible city that is really fully wheelchair accessible.
Yeah.
We have the potential to grow, okay? But of course we have a lot of things to do as well. So that's why it's really good that you introduced me to, be part of your show. That's how I can actually voice out my vision to see in Kuching and stuff. Yeah.
Do you feel that there's something, sometimes you actually experience that there's some fear of that, of the lacking in facilities?
Yes,
you
correct.
think?
Especially when you travel other places, other countries.
Yeah.
And when you try to find an accommodation that is really wheelchair accessible, they have different definition of wheelchair accessibility actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So there was one, I went to a hotel and they claimed that it was a wheelchair accessible
Right.
room. But somehow that the toilets was very small. And then the shower head was very high up as well.
That's not accessible.
Yeah, so they actually have different definitions
Okay.
because different people with disabilities, they have different needs as well. So
That's true.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I guess that's how they have different definitions
Yeah.
of being accessible.
Yeah.
So that's one of my fearful things as well. Like you go to a place and then it wasn't what you expect it to be.
Correct. Because we mentioned before that you can always plan ahead,
Correct,
right?
correct.
But that doesn't mean you can actually
Correct.
follow the plan.
Yes.
Like this, there's always a detour.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, but I feel from the sound of it, that doesn't stop you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because I just love traveling too much. Even though there's hiccups along the way, but when you are there, you just kind of forget everything, you know. So I just want everyone to experience what I experience. You know, it doesn't matter you have disabilities or whether you are normal. You know, just enjoy the flow. You know,
Yeah.
there's always
And really
something-
go for
Correct,
it, right?
correct.
So one of your advice I would say is really living your life.
Yes.
And going forward for it and not
Correct.
be fearful
Correct.
towards maybe any hiccups.
Yes.
Yeah.
And try first. Never try, you never
Never-
know. That's
Never
what my
try,
usual
never
motto.
know.
Yeah, never try, never ask, you never know.
That's
yeah,
true.
So,
So we talk a lot about traveling, you know, but I want to get more in depth into your daily lives. You know, you say you love to go cafes. I love to go cafes as well, to have a cup of tea. But what's your experience like when you go and, you know, maybe park? Do you find it hard to find car park?
in Kuching, we have quite a number of disabled car park
Yeah,
actually.
that's true.
The shopping malls are really good in this.
Yeah.
They always provide very big car park spaces for me to bring out the wheelchairs. So they are going along that
That
way.
way.
And some new buildings that have ramps as well.
That's
good.
really good.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know when you said big, so there are car parks that are too small that you actually, even though it shows accessible the sign, but you can't actually park there.
Correct. Certain, maybe they kind of space it too tightly narrowed, so it's a bit hard because when I take out the wheelchair, I will need a lot of ample space. to
That's
go in
true.
as well.
That's true.
Yes.
I remember there was one time when we went out, but the car was a bit too close. So it's
correct.
also about the community parking.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
also because sometimes when I go out, that when I access through the ramp, you know, then when I came back, there was like a car parking in front of the ramp as well. So I guess it's more about being aware that, you know, you could park elsewhere but not in front of
Correct.
the ramp.
Yeah.
So that actually helps a lot as well because
Yeah.
if I were to be alone, I would be very helpless. There is no way for me to go down
Correct.
without a ramp.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That's just so people have to be really aware and alert
Correct.
towards
Correct.
everything.
Yeah.
Was there any time where people actually come and tell you, it's just for a while, just for a while. I'm so
Oh.
sorry, just for a while, just for a while. Where, you know, they actually parked at your car park.
Okay, yes, they do though. I have seen this a couple of times. So basically, this is a wheelchair car park. So I was about to turn in, but I couldn't turn in because the car was just right in front of the car park, just waiting.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure waiting for what, but
Yeah,
just waiting there. Yeah.
So a lot of things to look into.
Yeah.
But I think one of the biggest thing is actually not only the kindness that from people,
Yes,
but
correct.
actually people really observing and understanding why is there a reason of a accessible car park.
Correct.
Because you gave me the opportunity to be in your shoes, I'm gonna give you mine.
Wow, literally?
Yes, Lester, can I have my shoes? Ta-da!
wow,
This is
that's
really
really
my
nice.
style, and it really speaks of who I am.
Nice.
I guess by me sitting in your wheelchair and you putting on my shoes, it really goes back to trying to understand the other person. No matter if we are strangers or the bestest of friends, it doesn't cost a cent to put yourself in another person's shoe. Let's always consider the other person, always put ourselves in another person's shoes, and always show kindness to everyone. Right?
Very good.
So thank you, Kah Yee, for sparing your time with us.
Thank you so much for having me here. I learned a lot from you as well, and I enjoy being here.
Same goes to me. Like, I learned so much from you, and I bet our viewers learn a lot from you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching the BorneoTalk show. See you next time.
Bye.